us. And in the meantime, we're pouring some coffee. Hey. Oh, and of course, there's my notification that we are live. So welcome everyone, IndieVolt radio listeners. If they're out there, since Varian isn't back on board yet, he's probably shuffling his connections right now in order to get back here. Let's hope he shows up soon. Either that or I'll be talking to myself and it'll be an incredibly short version of the buzz. So, hope you're all doing well. Better than Varian, apparently, at this point, trying to throw stuff together.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
And waiting for Varian to step in here anytime. In the meantime, this is the morning, so we don't need the TV 14. If you take the time to like that and hit that like button, even though it's just me, greatly appreciated if you're on YouTube. Hello to everyone. Hello, hello. Let's hope Varian gets back on board here. If not, this might be an incredibly short edition of the Breakfast Buzz. Looking for the opening. Still new to this, so please hang on. And I'm not seeing it, but in the meantime, you get to watch wonderfully pouring coffee. All right, still waiting for Varian to catch back up. It wasn't my fault. I did not kick him. No, sir. Did not kick him. We're back to the coffee as I look for the opening. I know it's here somewhere. Anyway, if he's not here soon, we're just going to have to move along. Could this be it? Let's try this. Well, I did find the regular buzz opening. Still waiting for Varian to show up. If not, we might have to end this broadcast and jump. Not giving up yet. Still hanging in. In the meantime, enjoy your coffee. I know I'm enjoying mine. Still hoping for Varian to show up. Lots of stuff in the news. I think he's coming on now. So let's welcome to the show Mr. Varian Grant. Are you there, buddy? You're on a different camera this time.
Yeah, I got the Lola cam. Can you hear me?
Lola cam, I can. You're 5x5, so it's all good.
Okay. Yeah, wow. I had a computer problem over there. It came out of nowhere. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were about to go live, so I hope none of what we were talking about before was live. It was not meant for public consumption.
No. I was sitting there, and the next thing I know, my computer froze, and
then I looked, and it was 9:01, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
I hope that didn't get on the air.
No, it didn't.
That'll make the dark roast seem like a picnic.
Oh, so the problem is, my computer has some type of issue,
glitch.
Yeah, and so I can't get into the yeah.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Varian has a faulty system.
It's completely faulty. Let me see here.
I'm in the driver's chair this morning. Then I take it.
You are.
Computer.
You are, yes, yes. I'm at her laptop. Yeah, yes. I have to talk into the ball, Mike. I get a lot of feedback in her
I couldn't
headphones.
find the breakfast opening. I did run the regular buzz opening though.
Let's
So
see here. Let's see.
you're gonna have to strip this out later for our great IndieVolt radio listeners.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's the breakfast opening. Here we
Is
go.
that it? That's not
Yeah,
it.
it's right here.
Music.
I'll play it.
All right. Oh, I guess that was right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome everybody. So because of that glitch, I don't have access to any of my recordings or videos or even the graphics that I made.
Did you have some
So
stuff set up? It's not in here. If you did.
yeah, I didn't get a chance to upload it. I
Oh.
was up. I was about to upload it, and then yeah. Was I feel my computer was attacked.
It's those 14 weirdos again that Zach keeps talking about. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's
We are live, and you're welcome to the comments section. Is there anybody out there on YouTube this morning?
I'm pretty sure. Let me see here.
Are we too early for Ted?
Yeah, Ted's probably asleep. No, actually, I spoke to Ted this morning. He is awake. I'd like to know where all this feedback I'm getting is coming from.
Well, I've already got a list of people. Well, Ralph at least is awake. He says, "So Randy, what do you think of the WB crisis? Zim and coffee is a good mix. Yeah, coffee." And Ralph says hello. I'm watching the WB crisis. It's the only thing I'm really watching on a regular basis on television right now.
The WB.
Wonderful CW. They're moving pieces around. It's been kind of fun. They get a free and open hand this year to do whatever they want. Have you been watching it, Varian?
No. I do have most of it DVR and recorded, but I haven't watched it yet.
The high point for me so far has been the opening scene in the first episode of the first season of Arrow. Mm-hmm. As it starts out with on Lian Wu, whatever the island is that Green Arrow is on, or it starts on, and it shows Batman's cowl on a spike. And I'm like, well, no Batman on this earth. So, spoiler alert, if you're not, if you haven't watched CW shows yet for this season, but the Monitor is moving Oliver and now apparently Diggle around from Earth to Earth in order to gather a bunch of MacGuffins for him to put together a larger MacGuffin, the ultimate nullifier probably, to keep the anti-Galactus Monitor away. So. And the first episode of Arrow has been really good, except man, I hate those flashbacks and flash forwards. I've hated them since about season 3. I think they're totally unnecessary and that it's a bad hook for the show. But the show's ending this year. They're gonna have a short season and then they're done, and it's all good. But in the meantime, they're going everywhere, which is cool. So
Lola says good morning. Good morning, Lola. As you can see, I'm in your
Lola.
chair. Yeah. I had to come over to
his chair fried.
Yeah. Randy, we got an email that I can't bring up. But it was from a reader who wants to know.
A reader? It's from a viewer?
A viewer, yeah.
Hopefully a comic reader. Awesome, though.
Who wants to know if you will do a State of the Industry address.
A Fate of the Industry address?
State of the Industry address.
I'd want to write it out first.
Yeah.
Because, especially when I'm on the air, in order to try to keep the expletives down. I think it'd be important for me to have a basic outline at least, so I can sit here and not stray too far away from the point. So, I don't get up in the camera's face and start saying, "You better believe it." That's a quote. Anyway,
will you do it? Will you do it?
If they want me to do it, I'd do it. Yeah. It's not going to hurt me to do it.
Yeah, we'll advertise that you're doing it. Big.
I'm working on one right now, but it's going to be in a graphic novel form, and it's not going to be me. It's going to be my little monkey. So it'll all be good. I have notes. I have a notebook. I've been reading the stuff. I've been practicing. I've been practicing my spank the monkey. So here we go. Haven't done it in 10 years. I figured because of the paper, used to do the Flint Comics paper, and the monkey wasn't part of the paper. But
yeah,
now the paper's over, so I can do the monkey.
you've been
Good.
normally people would be shocked that you're spanking a monkey in the basement, but
That's not that monkey. That's not that kind of spanking. But it's okay. If it catches people's attention, that's what counts.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
but yeah, the state of the industry right now. If I were to start it like all the presidents do on their State of the Unions or the State of the States, the state of the industry right now is interesting. That's as far as it goes. We were talking about Kevin Feige last on Tuesday because he had just become chief creative officer over at Marvel, and the big thing that the sensible people are pointing out is that Marvel, even the Marvel Publishing, even though now they're lucky if they can move half of or a tenth of what they moved back in the 80s, they're still a big ship, and it still takes a year to a year and a half in order to turn that boat around, just like the Titanic trying to avoid that iceberg. So, in my opinion, Disney has looked out and seen that iceberg, and they put their best man down at that steering wheel in order to try to get it away from that iceberg with as little damage as possible. So we'll see how far the boat steers in the upcoming months.
Yeah, because I feel like it's gonna take us into 2020 before we see any change from Feige.
It's going to take us well into 2020 because these books are all done 6 to 8 months in advance. Don't forget Diamond. Any retailer will tell you Diamond works 3 months in advance. All these companies have to work ahead of Diamond.
Right.
So at the very least, it's going to be a half a year before you get things turned around. And even that's if Feige decides to take a hand in it as more than just a title. But now Disney has somebody to look at that they know generates money. And that's why he's getting all these gigs. Suddenly Feige's working on Star Wars, and Feige's chief creative officer at Marvel, and which includes the publishing, because Feige has proven that he can make money, and that's what Disney loves. So and that's what Disney stocks holders love too. So,
There's a lot of talk out there that
I think the next big change in comics, though, will be coming from DC because they have a very big meeting coming up at the end of this month in just a couple of weeks. So you might see that tree shaken up a little bit. It all depends on, how badly they feel their publishing arm is messing up, which it's messing up really bad.
well, there was some talk.
Good morning, Trico.
Good
Trico's in
morning.
the house.
Yep. How's it going, Trico? How are you this morning, sir? There's been some talk that the industry, or at least comics, Marvel, was going to be led by some believe it's going to be led by Sana Amanat in the upcoming, years.
There's a couple people in the runway, a couple people that people need to be concerned about, but it all depends on if they want to go and promote propaganda over profits. That's
Right.
it's that simple. If Disney wants money, honestly, Marvel Publishing could be generating hard cash, especially right now with the movies making billions of dollars.
But
it should be generating hard cash.
Is Kevin's new job title, is that a wrench in the plan to put Sana over everybody, or is that everything's going according to plan?
Now we're getting the old organ out and playing the soap opera music. We'll just have to wait and see. Robert Gregory is in the house. Hey, Robert, there is a huge shakeup coming where the DC heroes will pass on their mantles. Yeah, that's in the runway. We'll see if that actually takes off. I keep hoping that some people out there will come to their senses and go, hey, that didn't really work for Marvel. Why the hell are we doing it? But DC is notorious for following straight into Marvel's footsteps, even if it means like a lemming over a cliff. So we'll see how that goes. Trico says it's always a good morning when I catch the breakfast buzz. Thanks, Trico. But yeah, the state is very interesting because
Don't mind me, guys. I'm just having a little sound issue. I don't know if
and
you guys can hear me, but it'll come back
yeah,
in a second.
yeah, you're fine. We can hear
Uh,
you. We can hear. I can hear
Lola
you
has
good.
a very advanced music system, speaker system on her computer, and I'm getting horrible feedback, which I need to fix.
Oh, well, it's just on your end, thank goodness. Outside of a little double echo, that went away. It's all good on my end. So, Robert says, well, Cat Dad, and Supermom is a comic that shows the power of comics because it teaches morals with farts. Of course it is. It's all good. I take it that's Robert Gregory's book, Cat Dad and Supermom. And there's a link in the chat if you see that for catdadsupermom.com. We should probably have Robert Gregory on. Do you know Robert Gregory? Varian, can you hear me? Apparently not. Okay, hey, lighten up the chat in there and let us know what's going on. If you have any answers that you need, even if I still seem to be going solo, let me know. I'll be right back. Varian just disappeared for a second again. So, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the wonderful breakfast buzz as we get coordinated on Varian's end. That didn't sound right. As we get coordinated on Varian's side.
My poor side.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I had to adjust the jiggle settings. Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
You got-
Trico says, Varian is adjusting the jiggle settings on the Lola cam.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, I had too much jiggle up there. I had to tone it down. It's like Dead or Alive, the video game. They have jiggle settings for the character's breast, and I had to. Yeah, it's getting way too much reverb on those breasts.
Not as much. Not as much soundproofing, huh? Not as much padding. Not as much padding.
Yeah. So, I guess with did we get any more? Yes, Robert Gregory's his catdadandsupermom.com. He's
Yeah, I was saying while you couldn't hear that maybe we should have Robert Gregory on.
yeah. Well, we've had him on.
Okay.
That's Robert Gregory is well. Is it okay if I announce that? I think
No,
everyone knows.
You don't have to.
But yeah, we've had him on. So yeah.
Is that Bob? Is that Bob?
No,
Rob?
it's Rob. Yeah.
Rob. Okay, Rob. Hey, Rob.
Yeah. And
You don't have to hide yourself here, buddy.
Cat Dad and Supermom though the book looks good. The book looks good. In fact,
I thought I recognized the property name, especially when he mentioned farts.
in fact, it might upset him a little bit, but I think that it actually looks a lot better than his other content.
Okay.
Yeah, but Rob's always been a champion for this industry, so if anybody can take it, he can. I like Cat Dad and Supermom. And he, I believe that's a part of Cat Dad and Supermom is his son is heavily involved. His son Jack's awesome little kid.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to read it? Yeah, sure. Cat Dad and Supermom is available at catdadsupermom.com right now if you're watching. If you want a book for your children or even for yourself, check that out.
It's fun. It's lighthearted. And it's meant for everybody, not just for kids. But it's ideal for reading to your kids.
Rob said hurtful but true.
Hurtful but true.
So we are moving full steam ahead. I got a con this weekend in Wilberforce. It's the Black Power Celebration in Comics 2019. Same weekend as Wizard World Columbus, which is an hour away from where I'll be. But since it seems like a buzz for this show. Are you drinking already, Ralph?
That is
Are you?
that is entirely your choice. It might not be drinking.
Yeah.
You don't have to abuse alcohol in order to get a buzz.
No. I have a question for you guys. Uh, when you are making your books, do you think that being a comic book artist or being any type of creative is related to depression?
Depression?
Yeah.
There's a lot of art that is formed out of depression and frustration.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see a lot, like for example, a lot of these musical artists, they'll cut 2 or 3 albums and then they'll all of a sudden they'll stop because they really don't have anything to write about because they're happy. Edgar Allan Poe is a prime example. Well, not really a prime example of somebody that ever got happy, but somebody that wrote out of depression and negativity, frustration. I think most of the great writers are. Hemingway had a bad alcohol problem. I'm not sure. There are always those wild tales about comic creators that, were drunk in the bathtub on a deadline.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff. There's like I said, a lot of art is born out of frustration. A lot of art back in the 60s was made, the 60s and 70s was made by some pretty mind-expanding drugs, too. So a lot of that underground movement that was really creative and it was artificially. A lot of people say that Marvel during that period was very artificially stimulated. So some of the stuff that was coming out of them, some of the writers were pretty crazy.
Mm.
Trico says, as an indie comic guy, I only felt depression when I looked at my bank account. Ralph says, my ideas come from a dark place. Never come from a dark place, even my horror stories. Yeah?
And I think there's really no secret. Most people know this. My son, Caden, he's very high functioning autistic. Everything is like with him, he can speak, he can hold a conversation. He's you wouldn't know it until it is basically affected in his behavior and sometimes his memory, his recollection of memories, or so like with him, if he watches a TV show, he really won't remember it. And I noticed this in playing with his toys. I'd watch him play with his action figures, and rather than recreate scenes from TV shows, he just didn't do it. And you would ask him, "Hey, Caden, remember when this happened in that show?" And no, not really. Well, something interesting happened lately. It's October, and we've been letting him watch scary movies with us, and he all of a sudden remembers everything about these scary movies. Everything about them. So horror movies are somehow he remembers those. Like, and I don't know if it's because he's traumatized or I hear footsteps. Who's walking around me? Okay.
That would be a rough one to guess, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's oh man, he remembers everything. We let him watch movies from the Conjuring universe, and he knows those characters. He knows he can recite what happened in the last movie and how it connects to the other ones. But so maybe I got a little horror maestro on my hands. Maybe he'll be writing the horror movies in a few years. And everyone will ask me what type of kid I raised.
That would just be average,
Yeah.
Every kid like that has their specialties and the stuff that they remember.
Yeah.
Back when I was younger, when the Betamax machines were out, I was renting every horror movie I can get my hands on, and now I just find it kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everybody's tastes change and develop and move in different directions.
Yeah. Maybe he'll just he's definitely interested in them. He's it's that in comics. He wants to draw. He wants to do comics, and
maybe you should get him some horror comics to read. Get some of those great old Tales from the Crypt that everybody said melted kids' minds back in the 50s. Which they never did. They were just awesome and creative. That's all.
I have the whole collection of Tales from the Crypt TV show, the HBO show. on DVD. Love those. Ralph says, I often wonder why I see more autistic children these days than I ever remember other kids growing up. Uh, is it the drugs we take, the stress we are under, or what the reason is? No one knows. No one knows. Not. I don't know what thing anyone knows for sure.
Some of that could just be better diagnosing or defining of the child development problems also. You know, what we would consider autism today might have just been considered a problem child in the past, or somebody whose butt was constantly being whipped.
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you this, in
depending upon the conspiracy theory that you listen to, it has to do with the mercury in the vaccines, but hey.
I remember, I don't recall any when I was coming up either, but, you know, I did have some friends that were constantly grounded, so.
I knew a lot of people that would have been diagnosed as ADHD
Yeah.
back when I was growing up that never were. They were just, labeled a problem child and had their ass beat quite often.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
My mother has some ADHD. She won't admit it, but she does. She's a busybody. Even at 69 years old, she's...
I tell folks about my upbringing and they tell me that I was abused. So anyway.
Did you...
My
did
ass
you...
met the coal shovel quite often.
Ooh. Randy.
Yeah.
How about
Hey, there we go. Always handy.
A circle template.
That's the image tool extraordinaire.
Mine was sitting right here, and I thought
That and a French curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few back up here.
Yeah. Now, Randy, when I had my office with the artist working there, and I had the bullpen set up, I told the artist, I said, look, if you guys are not going to come down here all the time, that's fine, but bring your own tools.
Right.
Because I had my tools. I had two sets of tools. I had tools at home, and I went out and bought tools for the office so I can just leave it there, and that way I wouldn't be transporting back and forth. This and T-squares were the most stolen item that I had.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, the other artists, because artists will come borrow it. They want to borrow my T-square. Can I borrow your circle template? Sure. And they take it, and
And you never see it again.
yeah.
Yeah,
Does
you
anybody
have
hear
to-
those footsteps?
Tack your name on it somehow
Yeah.
or label it somewhere. That's mine. Give it back to me.
Are those footsteps in yours or mine? Is that? Do you hear footsteps?
Oh, yeah, that's Monica moving around upstairs. She's
Oh,
getting ready
okay.
for work.
Okay, I thought it was mine. I was.
Now,
I was getting
if
ready
you're
to-
hearing creaking, that's yeah. That, and I have a Yeti, so a sensitive Yeti.
yeah. I'm getting a lot of feedback, but that's just me.
Okay.
So,
James, Eric's in the house.
hey Eric, do you want to come on and do your unboxing, sir?
Does he have something to unbox?
Yes. Many items to unbox, and I Eric, if you message me, I didn't get it because my computer was like goodbye, and I had to get on Lola's.
At least people are getting something to unbox. I still have yet to see anything outside of my wonderful sketch card from Pink Lemonade. I haven't had any of my crowdfunding fulfilled in months and months.
Nick Cagnetti actually posted an update. Pink Lemonade. He's getting the books tomorrow.
Yeah, he said it when he sent the sketch cards out that the books were coming within a couple weeks. So
Yeah. So he's getting them tomorrow. He's getting them
faith.
Friday. He's gonna spend the weekend getting them all packaged up and sent out.
yeah,
So all right, let me send.
it's not just CG books that I'm waiting on either. I've got an Alternaween package that I've been waiting for.
Haven't got your Alternaween yet either, huh?
No, did you get your Alternaween?
No, I didn't back Alternaween.
Oh, I backed it hard. I keep watching for the box next to the door just in case it disappears like our gnomes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Eric
Ethan got
says
his.
He'll come on. Ethan got his Alternaween.
Yep.
I didn't see that. The last couple of Ethan videos, he's set to private for some reason, which really drives me nuts. I guess I'm going to have to join his channel in order to see everything.
You see how it
Holy
is.
crap. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not very nice on his part because I use him to listen while I'm working. So.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Robert says Jax use to rip apart books and not ever use them for anything.
His son Jax, yeah.
Yeah, used to rip apart books and not use them for anything. He's autistic and gets frustrated fast. I'm sure that was fast. But once he saw a comic about him, he tried to read and it no longer rips books up. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's you know, I've heard of people telling me that they were actually able to teach autistic kids. I've seen to read using comics.
Well, that's a big thing in the schools all of a sudden. Well, that Scholastics really latched onto that. That if the kids are reading comics, they're reading. So you shouldn't stop them from reading. You should just watch what they're reading. So and encourage more of it. So that's why Scholastic kicks out Dog Man and Captain Underpants and all of that, and seem to be making a nice, seems to have made a nice niche market for themselves. That Dog Man guy, he just doesn't stop. He just keeps kicking books out.
Ralph says, Randy, how much? Oh, let's see.
Crowdfunding books, do I have floating out there? Too much. Too much. I gave a list to the wife, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta stop crowdfunding. I did crowdfund the Starblades book last week though, just because I really want that, and they were closing out the campaign, and Kyle's art looks absolutely amazing. But well, Cyberfrog, obviously, God King, Lone Star, Graveyard Shift 2, Pink Lemonade, Long Harbor. Went in the Long Harbor guys back in Cuba, so I don't know if that's ever going to get fulfilled. And I'm sure there's a couple of other ones. Umbrella Guy. I'm waiting for Tug's books to come out. That should have probably been out by now. A lot of folks that are late. So. And Earthworm Jim. I've got both of the Earthworm Jim books coming.
You didn't cancel Earthworm Jim?
He won't take refunds. I didn't even try them. I didn't want to try. I saw the Bigfoot Bill book, and anybody who cancels Earthworm Jim, even if no matter who he's arguing with, would be silly to stop it.
All right, here we go.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, how's it going, Eric?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you're on. You're good.
So you got some unboxing for us, huh?
Yeah, I got a few things I can do. I'm getting some audio problems here. Let me figure this out.
You're sounding fine on through these phones, so it's all good.
Are you getting a lot of feedback, like a lot of static, white noise?
Going pretty good. I'm getting double audio though, so.
Oh.
How are we sounding? Anybody in the chat? Let us know. Are we sounding all right out there in the chat? Let us know.
Yeah, I got it fixed. I still had you open on Facebook.
Okay.
So, so one of my problems is that I've been so busy trying to get work done that everything that's come to my door is just kind of stacked up on me. And but I figured it might be fun. I got this little gem in the mail, and as you can see, it says from EVS.
There you go. Yep.
So why not open that up today on the morning stream and give it a shot? I'm going to try to be a little tricky here and see if I can't switch my camera on the fly. I think I can.
Yeah, there you go.
Sweet.
There's no fly there.
All right, so here we are, UPS Media Mail. Nice and dense and heavy.
Pulling that ripcord.
Let's see what we got here. Now I backed this campaign twice.
Please don't let it be a copy of Lone Star.
Hey, there's our stuff. We got our little let's see, the swag that came with it. Got
Robert says everything's fine. Yeah. Thanks, Robert.
some sort of bookmark, a
That's a window sticker.
And then we got this trading card. Let's go ahead and pop that thing open and see what that looks like.
Cyberfrog trading cards being opened here live.
Well, all part of that long wait people were complaining about.
Yeah.
All right, so there's what I got.
Awesome.
Cyberfrog and
Pretty cool
Salamandroid.
looking. And there's the Salamandroid cover.
There's some foil in there too, isn't it? In the logo
Yeah.
foil.
Nice and shiny. Look at
Yeah,
that.
nice and shiny. Now, what I find interesting is that this was the second campaign. I backed them both, and this is the first book that I got.
Yeah, I backed the first campaign. I haven't gotten my books yet either. I'm kind of hoping that I ordered the ash can and didn't remember.
Oh. Shiny.
Yeah.
It's got that nice off the press smell to it. There's Ethan's signature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got the streaking here on the all black page that everybody's been pointing out. It is what it is. I've seen plenty of Marvel books on the stand with some weird printing issues.
I've seen professional magazines with that kind of
Yeah.
fluting in it.
My old Game Pros the ink used to come up as I was reading the page.
Yeah, yeah.
The ink would come on. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's just a paper stock thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful looking book. Oh,
yeah.
man, look at that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna bring it full screen. Let's see here.
Yeah. Ethan swears it's his best work.
I'd
Kyle.
say so.
Kyle just keeps me in awe with his coloring. Man, that's right up there with Brian Boland.
Horrific.
Yeah. Caden would like that.
Everybody was making a big stink about that page when he showed it done.
Was it too violent or?
It didn't look like honey when it's in black and white. Oh, look at that. That's bright. That's awesome.
Yeah, the colors in this just pop. It just really.
That's Kyle.
Kyle really did a fantastic job on that book.
Yeah, it's
Coloring it.
It's classic when you get really talented people on the same vein working on the same project. I hope it reads as good as it looks. That's awesome.
3 comics in one, 3-parter series.
Yeah, it was too thick to print on regular comic paper. They had to go back and reprint it. That's why he's got all of those publisher copies that are going online.
Pretty
Nice.
thick looking book. Nice
Very.
reflection of Eric in the back.
Yeah.
Whee!
Yeah. There you go. Nice reflective back cover.
Yeah. Ready for fingerprints.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ideal for fingerprints.
And
So that's cool. So this is cool. I mean, yeah, I'm getting the same art twice here, but you know,
Yeah.
you get these little swag things. That's no biggie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a beautiful looking book, and again, I'm surprised that I got the Salamandroid cover before I got the regular cover, since it was the second crowdfund.
Yeah,
Well,
that was the second campaign.
That was the first printed though too.
Okay.
So
Well, then that would make sense if that's
because
the first
they
one
were
that came off
they
the
were
press.
having a hard time figuring out how to bind the regular Cyberfrog cover. So that's why they had that hold up.
That looks good though. That looks really
Yeah, it
good.
looks awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled with it. And for what it was, if people like to complain about, the cost and all that, I think this is well worth the money, and I'm sure its value will just increase over time.
So now, Eric, you're in Southeast Michigan. You're in Grosse Pointe.
Unfortunately,
Randy still hasn't gotten his Cyberfrog. He's in Flint.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I ordered the first run Cyberfrog, and I might have ordered the ash can too. So and
Eric-
I'm sure he's holding off until he gets the he should have the other ash can stuff in today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
looks
cool.
good. That looks good. Now, Eric, you got yours a couple days ago, right?
yes, it did arrive about 2 or 3 days ago while I was at Ace Comic Con. It came.
Okay.
Not a
Blood.
bad show. Not perfect by any means, but it was a pretty decent. It reminded me of an older Wizard World where because it had everything in one hall basically, and the artist alley was separate. You had to walk through artist alley to get to the rest of the show. That was nice.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool. Now you have another package. Is there anything on the back of those Cyberfrog cards, by the way?
Uh,
Yeah, they're like regular trading cards.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Gabe's in the
Salamandroid
house.
weighs 2 tons. He's 11 foot 9 inches. His homeworld is Pedandry. I don't know how to pronounce that. Salamander hybrid with something else. Abilities: incredible strength and endurance. Can leap 100 feet in any direction. Can breathe fire. Unlike his twin brother Cyberfrog, Salamandroid does not share a cyberlink with whoever that is. I'm sure we'll find that out reading the comic. First appearance of Hall of Heroes presents number 0. So there's
Eric Ralph asks, what was the cost?
this was $25.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much all of my Indiegogo campaigns that I've supported them all at whatever the $25 level is, just because I wanted to support as many projects as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. And I do have. Let me grab another one here. Let's. This one will be a complete and total surprise because I got a huge stack of this stuff, and I don't remember what package is which.
As Ethan would say, please don't let it be porn. Poom.
Okay, so let's see. This says it came from Brian Shearer illustration. Oh, this is a drawing that I bought off my buddy Brian Shearer. So
Okay.
ugh.
You know, here I am using Gemini mailers. Everyone else is using envelopes. I feel used.
Just make sure the book is secure on and won't be bent on the corner if it gets.
Yeah, I'm actually
Once it gets delivered.
surprised that Cyberfrog came unscathed in that mailer because that's not a heavy duty mailer.
Yeah, it was backed up by a big sheet of corrugated cardboard, though.
Yep.
So
Ooh,
looky there, that's nice and crisp.
Tila.
Yeah, he was doing some sketches late last year, I think near Christmas, raising some extra money, and saw that and snagged it off of him.
Sweet,
Something
Very
else to hang up.
nice and crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Shearer's work. He's got a good balance between traditional comic and cartoon style that
Yeah,
just looks nice. I definitely would think about maybe having him do an alternate cover for a Dinosaur Man book in the future.
Wait a minute, Eric. Wait
What?
a minute. Those eyes. Those eyelashes. I've been ridiculed by you for having eyelashes like that on my character.
But the Lady of the Night eyelashes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, you're no John Malin when you comes to laying those down all thick.
No, yeah. That was
All right, well, I want to do another comic, so let's
Okay.
do another comic.
all right.
Pretty sure. Ugh.
Ralph, have you? I know you're in the chat. Ralph, have you crowdfunded any books? If
anybody
not,
in the chat waiting on anything crowdfunded in general?
All
Just
right,
have to be
so
Ralph.
this one makes some noise.
sure, Rob. Please do. Go ahead and share it.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
Yeah. That sounds broken, Eric.
Yeah, it's like
Uh-oh, there's the rattle.
what's rattling in this?
As long as it's not from adamandeve.com.
Oh, I got.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
Oh, it was the dog tag.
It's Lone Star.
it's loose. It's Lone Star.
That's what was making the noise in there. That's pretty cool.
It's a dog tag. It's a dog tag.
Wonder where we got that made at. All right, let's see. So we got another trading card in the package there.
How long have you been sitting on that package?
I don't even know. It's like everything's just there's just
Yeah.
a pile over here in the corner.
So I got my Lone Star a long time ago, months ago. If it's Lone Star 1, if it's Lone Star 2, I'm going to be mad.
So yeah, another cool looking card. I like the 90s X-Men kind of theme on it.
Mm-hmm.
Got the power ratings.
Power ratings.
Always good.
Oh, harkening back to simpler times in CG.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Here we are. Art of the Year number 1. Another nice thick book.
Yeah.
It's got a good glossy cover on it.
There's perspective issues there.
Don't try to pick it apart.
We'll save picking it apart for
Sometimes you
another
just
time.
have to let art flow over you.
yeah.
Robert
Oh,
Gregory.
Look, according to Kickstarter, these are marginalized people groups here.
He never got that as a solid answer from Kickstarter. If you read the explanation why they didn't accept his campaign, they didn't pick on the book specifically. I think it was more him
Really?
that they
Rob, you can-
that they go back and look at that response that they gave.
I'll have to then, yeah, definitely.
Rob, you can call it this the IndieVolt breakfast buzz. That's fine.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, looks good.
Are those are Friends of Humanity? I remember in X-Men, the Friends of Humanity had the little cross logo on it. Yeah.
Yeah, if we were going to pick on that book, my largest complaint after reading it was that they didn't explain who the characters were from the start. And it's not like it's a Marvel comic where you automatically know most of the characters. You know, this is your first introduction to the character. They should have sat down, probably on the inside front cover, and done like a dossier file or something that explains who all the characters are.
Okay.
That would have come in a lot handier in the enjoyment of the story.
I think that's a fair criticism then, definitely.
But other than that, I thought it was a decent work.
Rip.
Yeah. Rip. A little, Warren Comics level violence, but that doesn't hurt anything if you're an adult, At the opening scene with Lone Star attacking that gang was pretty rough. The Atomic Family, though, I really like. They have a small preview of the Atomic Family in the back, and quite frankly, I think that they should have fast-tracked that book because that's a solid property.
Huh. Have we I haven't heard anything about it except for right now. Looking at this.
When you read the preview, it's got a lot of possibilities to it. It's a family, basically, what it says, it's a family with superpowers that go around fighting crime.
Oh, the Incredibles.
And they have, Incredibles, Fantastic Four, that kind of thing. But they have a little bit higher morality base. They're a little, not I won't say they're religious, but they have the ethic and morality base that they kind of argue back and forth about.
Oh, that's an interesting dynamic.
What's proper and what's not proper, and what they should do as heroes and what they shouldn't do as heroes. They actually consider, they look at themselves as what would a superhero do, and they discuss it as a family, which I thought was really cool.
Ralph says, "What were some of the best incentives you guys have seen?" Gosh,
Go ahead.
I seen someone doing. I know you both are gonna groan, but I seen someone doing pops.
Really, Funko Pops?
Yeah, little figures, little 3D printed figures.
Yeah.
Hard to see with the crappy
Oh,
camera. Found
hang
my
on.
name.
Let me.
Did you
roll
find your
that
name?
back up.
Yeah, found my name.
Let's see if the camera will focus. Ah,
Keep it steady.
Yeah, it's not going to focus very well.
No.
I
Ralph
got
the
to
big.
upgrade my drawing camera to something a little bit better.
Yeah. Ralph, the best incentive that I saw was that they had a Bigfoot Bill had a making of book that you could order, and I didn't order it, and then I saw what it looked like, and I went, "Oh, I should have ordered that book." And then when Earthworm Jim come out, I just automatically bought both of the books at once because the making of Earthworm Jim book also covers all of the animation and the pre-concept sketches and all of that, and it looks like they're both going to be really solid products. And that's they do books. They don't do comics. Ethan wants to do comics. Mike S. Miller wants to do comics. Allegiance wants to do comics. But Doug does books.
Yeah, I got Bigfoot Bill down there in that stack somewhere. So
Yeah.
good for another day.
It's just a good, solid product, and you can't. After seeing Bigfoot Bill, there's no question that you're gonna get your money's worth when you order that book from Doug.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Earthworm Jim because I was a huge fan of that character as a kid, and just neat seeing him breathe that back into life.
Yeah. I wonder if like now, Eric, are there you're doing a crowdfunding book right now? Do you have any incentives?
We did a trading card, and we did a lot of appearing in the book, getting drawn in there. So there's a bunch of people in the crowd, and some people are going to get beat up by Roddy Piper that are actual real people. One of the strangest things from that campaign is like everybody who bought into that is a dude with a beard. Talk about diversity. You keep getting photos and emails like, great, another dude with a beard. Well, this guy's got a beard. That's original. So pretty much every bearded guy in there is going to be a real person.
Are they at least like different color beards, like red beards, brown beards?
There's brown and the gray.
Okay.
And there's a few bald heads as well. So.
Oh man. Well, the good thing is,
and it's all white dudes too. So it's like, come on, I don't have a lot to work with here.
Eric, did you guys? I know. I mean, you're obviously in Michigan, but we had Simon on Sim, and Sim, and he was telling us that he was having problems. He's been having problems for a while getting his money from Indiegogo.
Yeah, that's a tough break there. I did find it interesting when he mentioned that everybody he's talked to that's having the same problem, it's all been ending on a weekend. So that's food for thought.
Yeah. Make your project end Monday morning. There you go.
Yeah. I sure hope getting the U.S. bank account works everything out for him, makes it a little smoother transition. Hopefully you can get that done. I really feel bad for the guy. There's a few guys that are on the lower echelon of CG, where I get to stay for right now. And, one guy had a thing up. He's going to be homeless in a month or two. So he's like, I need to do some commissions. I need $600. And it's a reminder. It's like not everybody who does this gets those big, successful crowdfunding platforms. It's there's a lot of guys who this is still hand to mouth, and just remember, there's no free lunch and there's no easy way out.
Yeah.
Hey, you.
And the other thing to keep in mind with these crowdfunding setups is that's not profit. That's not all.
No,
profit.
there's a lot of expense.
The government gets a third. Then you have all of your overhead. So it's not. These guys aren't getting rich. They're getting well off on some of them. Some of them aren't even. Some of them have underjudged their expenses, especially the shipping costs, and they're having to take that money out of their own pocket in order to fulfill that and look good.
Eric raised his hand.
Yeah, that's all a learning experience.
Yeah,
as you go along, that's the key, and one of the main reasons why you want to watch a few of these people, especially the more successful people. Crowdfunding Comics is Billy Tucci's channel is a really good example of that, because everybody's up there and they'll freely talk to you about their mistakes. And that's what you need to do. You need to listen and learn from these people who have done it before, and look at the business models that they've stood up, like especially if they've been out there for a while, like Brian Polito, Kaufman Comics, and see what they're doing and decide what they're doing right and what they're not.
I think my biggest mistake was not spending enough. We didn't spend enough lead time promoting it before we launched it, and we didn't have enough of finished artwork to show in the very beginning. Those are two things that I'm correcting for the next time I ever do anything.
I hear you. Yeah. Everything's a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Robert
think
wants you to check Messenger.
Yep. I'm on it right now. I'm sending Sweet Lola to grab stuff for me. Thank you. All right, because I'm not on my phone, so I have to. I mean, I'm not on my computer, so
Your stuff's always broke.
it is.
So what's new
Oh,
with
yeah,
you,
he did.
Randy? We can't have dead air.
No dead air. No. I have actually run out of commercial work right now, thank goodness. So I'm working on a few other things.
Ooh,
Just spent yesterday
you,
writing and drawing monkeys. It was good.
nice.
Are you guys? Well, Randy, now that you're out of commercial work, Eric, are you doing anything like in commissions right now?
Yeah, I'm still backed up on a couple of things. I've got a sketch cover to do, and I got a tractor pull project for a friend of mine out in Missouri for a logo for his tractor pulling group.
Cool.
I got to keep working on that too.
Yeah.
And I
Didn't you
just
do
got
one
my
of those a couple years ago for him?
No,
Did you do a tractor pull thing? Okay. All right.
no, this is my first tractor pull thing.
Okay.
I've also got I just got my stuff from Starcast, so I've got some fun things that I got to work on for that, and get those done in short order.
Yeah, because you got to rush for those. Yeah.
I got a hotspot over here. It's kind of annoying.
Gotta get that key light, man. What's wrong with you?
I know. It's like seriously, El Ganto was like, hey, people really like doing this. Let's feed them as much crack and cocaine as possible because they're always coming out with some new product. It's like, this is essential, but it's a little pricey. How can I manage this?
We've hit the 10 o'clock.
You showed.
We've hit the 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
So now
TV
we're
14's always been over there.
TV 14.
I gotta wake up.
Did you
earlier.
Just kidding.
Did you see Eric? You showed me something about 2 weeks ago. Elgato just released something new. What was that? I can't remember what it was.
It's a camera rig. So like I've got this. Can I show it? Oh yeah, it's right here. Here, let me hold this up and set. So I have this ganky webcam on a rig thing. So they've released something new. Sorry for those of you who are triggered by the gun on the wall. But yeah, so they've got a brand new product out now where you can basically point a camera in any direction. It's like this multiple, and it's a really solid hookup. So that's something that I want to upgrade to, so I can do mount a better camera and have a better viewpoint for doing drawing live and stuff like that. So yeah, they're always coming up with some new solution.
All right.
What kind of production is this? More dead air. Come on.
Dead air, Harry.
Yeah.
Ralph.
I like the Spankerine. Randy drew a cool Wolverine monkey, a Spank version of Spank yesterday. It was really cool looking. Wolverine being my favorite character. Anything Wolverine is awesome. What do you guys think about what John Hickman's doing with X-Men?
Fill me in because I don't follow every little thing. That's nice.
Well, the X-Men they live on a little island now.
Spankerine.
And
anyway,
he did an official layout of the Summers house. And Wolverine has a bedroom in the Summers house. And not just that, but his bedroom, Jean's bedroom, Wolverine's bedroom, and Cyclops' bedrooms are all conjoined. They all have little doors connecting each other.
Well, it is 2019.
It's a It's awesome. It's the weirdest thing, but yeah. Eric, you don't have a sketchbook out, right?
No, no,
Any
that's something
thoughts to doing
I've been
one?
meaning to do. I'd love to do one. I need to do one, especially for the wrestling stuff. But
Whatever that is. There we are.
11, 12, and 13 are Wolverine, Jean, and Cyclops' rooms that are conjoined. Notice you don't see any other conjoined rooms like that.
this is highly suspect.
This is in the comic book canon. And not just that, it says next issue, he's the best there is at what he does. She's married with a kid. The husband knows exactly what's going on, but who is he to point the finger? He's up to much the same and more. Maybe it's just the new normal on the mutant island.
Next time on General Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't read like a soap opera. Or one of those
Makes
cheesy
you
romance
yearn for
novels.
Chris Claremont and John Byrne again. That's what it does. Makes you yearn for that stuff. That old
Rob
classic,
says Jean gets
classic
shared.
material. Yeah.
Gene is shared. So I guess now you, Eric, you said it before when you've been on the show. You are longing to get back to Dreaded Dinosaur.
Oh my gosh, yes, so much so.
Is,
In fact, I think I might work
is
on
it hard
some
to
today
stay
and
away?
just sacrifice. It's very hard to stay away, but it's one of those things. It's like I've gotten busy enough now, and I'm pretty busy with the Piper book, that drawing what I want to draw is sacrificing time, and I don't have enough time to sacrifice on a lot of things, especially, family things, and then I have to keep traveling to pay the bills. So it's unfortunate. It's a tragedy that happens to a lot of independent guys. You got to keep food on the table, but you still want to work on your own IP. So really 2020, once I get past the Piper book, that's going to be my main focus, is really telling those stories, because they're burning inside my brain here to get out. And fortunately, I got a lot of that done early on. I spent the whole first year before I even drew anything writing out a whole bunch of lore. So I've got years worth of stuff to pull from, but I keep coming up with new things that I want to do, and I'm just really excited. I want to get a lot of people involved. I want to have other people writing. I want to have other people drawing, and just really grow the property as quickly as I can.
You had mentioned, we talked about it last Tuesday. You were in the chat about people putting out, hey, here's my new Kickstarter for issue 2 when issue 1 hasn't been fulfilled yet. And you guys though, have you faced any? You haven't launched any new Kickstarter campaigns. Your Piper book isn't late, right? It's not late yet.
Not yet. It'll be late if it's past February of next year.
Okay. Are you guys keeping everybody up to date though?
We're doing our best.
We're
doing our best. I float out pages as I get them done, and Dom gets them posted on social media, and I think he's posting on Indiegogo too. If not, I'm going to definitely I'll have to get in there and do an update on that. But pretty much everybody who was on the Indiegogo is on the Facebook page. In fact, there's 10 times as many people on the Facebook page as supported the Indiegogo.
What did you think about what the White Wiser thing? Because people are upset on the Red Rooster thing.
People have every right to be upset, but I can kind of understand the mentality, because I think all of us artists tend to have that scatterbrain when it comes to business decisions. Like, we get really excited and hyper focused on, hey, I'm going to start this new company. Well, I better get that done, get that going, then I can come back. And you rationalize these things in your brain, and it all makes sense there. But it doesn't make sense to the average person who's just waiting on their damn book. So,
yeah,
that kind of sums up the comic industry in general.
Yeah. I remember being, as a kid, every Image book was late that came out. I think Spawn and Savage Dragon were the only ones that were ever on time.
Yeah.
Whereas, waiting on Wetworks, that was forever. That was like a year late, something like that. Waiting on their first Brigade. I just remember going to the comic book store, and when it was supposed to come out, and be like, no, it's like 2 months pushed back or something like that. So And they were getting into the environment. They were learning as they were going on how to actually have a publishing company.
Yep.
They had some help from Malibu, but still, I mean, that didn't help with their own deadlines.
Yeah.
So, like we were saying earlier, everything's a learning curve.
I was looking at an interview with Todd McFarlane, and he stated that they would, young guys were coming in doing comics. They hand them a check for, because Image doesn't own anything. They hand you a check for $500,000, and then they call this kid up in a week or two. Hey, so how's issue 2 going? And well, he's not here. He's in Cancun, or he bought a motorcycle, and they had no way to make him come back and sit his ass at that table and do issue 2. They had no way, because they didn't own anything.
Yeah.
And you hand me $500,000. You hand me $500,000, I'm probably not drawing that much either. So.
Especially that young, and you've never had that kind of money before.
Yeah. There's a severe lack of motivation when that comes in.
There's a lot of great lessons to be learned from Image.
Yeah, definitely. And if I ever tried to start a publishing opportunity again, as some sort of company and thing like that, I think you got to make customer service number one, and that's one of the things. Like, I really give props to Peter Samiti, what he's done with Alterna Comics, and it's still really a one-man operation there, and he is, he's delivering books on time, he's delivering quality product, he's got his art teams, like. He must have really great management skills, because his art teams are putting out some fantastic stuff.
Again, every time someone mentions Peter Samedi, I think of newsprint, and then I think about how much Scott and Randy love newsprint, and I'm forced to do this. I'm forced to do that with the newsies. Look at them.
You know what? It just has this iconic, timeless nostalgia about it, and I think it's a and newsprint now is so much better than newsprint back in the day when it had to be used, because that was what was cheap.
Yep.
So we can get that nostalgic comic feel without it falling apart in 5 years.
Yeah, that's what ran through the presses. That's what it is. Comics were really started to keep the newspaper presses wet, so that they didn't have to go through and have to clean up all the black ink out.
Yeah, and you think about the stock that was used back then, like the pulps. It was really literally made out of old pulp, and that stuff just deteriorates over time. And thankfully now we can have that same experience and it not deteriorate like that.
Well, you can still get the same quality newsprint if you ask.
Oh, that old stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, it might not be as bad as the old stuff, because technology has grown so much. It's not going to crumble apart. You're not going to feel it coming apart when you rub on it. But you can still get pretty cheap newsprint out there. It's just that anymore it's not that cheap.
Well, whatever stock Alterna is using, I'm impressed with, because there's a lot of really good coloring going on, and you're losing some because it's not a high gloss book, but it still looks good on the page.
And again, it's an advancement in technology and the coloring system. Samedi knows how to color on newsprint. It's just the newsprint tends to soak in a lot of the ink, where the whiter paper, the ink just sits on top of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't sink in. But when you know how to treat that right and anticipate that soak in, you get these great looking bright books, which honestly is what Marvel and DC should have been doing this whole time. There's a lot to be said for collectors books, and there's also and there's also a lot to be said for disposable books. And there should always be disposable books out there, because it's the cheap books that attract the readers initially.
Yeah.
It's the cheap books that the parents are going to buy. That's why you've got these silly Archie digests out there in the grocery store. It's not the content that's selling those books, it's the availability and the convenience that's selling those books, because you really probably only have maybe 50 or so Archie stories that you tell. You just tell it over and over again and use a different MacGuffin or a different hook at the end or whatever. But
I remember in the
Archie as a company has survived because those digest and because of their availability at those grocery stores.
Yeah, I remember one time Peter was talking about trying to get a deal with Dollar General to get books in the store there, and I think if something like that ever comes to fruition, that's a great place to put them.
He's in a convenience store system now. What's Sheets? I think it's called, but I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Yeah,
It's a Pennsylvania gas station chain.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
in there. And he
That's
says
cool.
he's selling really well. He said he's had reports of books selling out. So
Ralph.
Sheets is really nice because they make they'll do made from scratch sandwiches and stuff. So it's more than just a gas station. It's actually
it's a convenience chain.
it's a really nice convenience chain. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ralph says, "Give me newsprint every day." I kind of hate the shiny look anymore, and not to mention the weight when you get a long box full.
When you're
Yeah.
dealing in mass production, when you're dealing in monthly production especially, it's so easy to fall into convenient traps. Because, like, if you look back in the 80s and 90s, back when Marvel was playing around with a plastic plate coloring system, that coloring was horrible and gaudy and nasty looking, and it took them a couple of years to decide that they needed to break away from there. And Milestone is another big example where they got stuck on a coloring system that I thought was just horrible, muddy and gaudy and nasty looking, that DC could sit down and recolor all of those Milestone books now and bring them out on brighter paper, and it'd look like a whole new product.
Wow.
You know, because it wasn't the stories that sucked. It wasn't the artwork that sucked. It's the way people would look at it, and there's just horrible, muddy look to it.
I seen someone
It turned
recolor.
people off.
They recolored a Jack Kirby piece, and it looked really good.
Oh, you
And
know,
they used
Kyle
modern
Ritter,
color. Yeah.
Kyle Ritter on Jack Kirby right now. You know, he could recolor the New Gods books, and it almost looked like a new product. I kept telling Gary Reed when he was still alive that he needed to sit down and find an anime colorist and color the first set of Realms, because that would look like a whole different product, especially with the way Guy Davis was drawing at the time.
Eric, have you ever had an ink or another colorist on your stuff?
Very rarely.
Mm.
Very rarely.
Yeah.
I'm not
Because
opposed to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not opposed to it, but just can't get them to do it.
I probably wouldn't go with an inker because just the way my drawing style is right now, I'm doing a lot of the detail work in ink, and so my pencils have gotten a lot looser now since I've gotten more confident doing the final lines.
Yeah.
So that would be a nightmare for somebody else to figure out, I think.
Yeah.
What does he want me to do here?
I saw some old Ditko pencils from ROM, Space Knight.
Oh.
Oh man, those were the people that were inking over Ditko during that period are amazing. Because it was all basic shapes. Because ROM was just a set of basic shapes.
Right.
You know, and all of the other Space Knights were, you know, diamond head, square head, whatever. And that's how Ditko drew them, just basic shapes and sent it on. So that was pretty crazy. All of that detail is all, I think Aiken and Garvey did a lot of that work.
Dang.
Back then, and that a lot of that detail all came out in the inking.
See, nobody lets me do any inking on their stuff. I should print out a bunch of you guys' pencils and just ink on them.
And I don't think I've inked anybody's work professionally for about probably 5 years, 6 years. So I need to sit down and do that because I did a lot of that back during the Arrow days.
I have a question for you guys. Me and Lewis, who isn't on today, we're talking about this. I noticed some inkers printing out pencils on 11x17 artwork and then taking that artwork to conventions and selling it as originals. Is that unethical, or is that it's okay, go ahead.
If they get the penciler's consent, then that's fine. But if they're just doing it to doing it, yeah, that's unethical. Is all get out.
Yeah.
There's also a few guys out there who are inkers, and they, legitimately are inkers, but they're selling the color prints, and they're kind of misrepresenting that. They're more representing as like, oh yeah, this is entirely me. You're not exactly getting the full story. So yeah, look out for that too.
That's really the key in how you present it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Already, one of your quotes is, "It's not big. It's not how big you are. It's how big they think you are."
Yep.
Could that be changed around to, "It's not what you did. It's how much they think you did."
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing because they're like you said, there are a lot of people out there inking stuff and passing it off as theirs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that shouldn't be doing it. So
it's not what you drew. It's how much they think you drew.
Yep.
And, unethical, sure, but
But I think any inker that's been out there has definitely sat down and at least inked one page of Kirby. If they haven't, they ought to. You know, and not necessarily to show it off, just to do it, and to ink it and to see it.
Just to go through a case of microns for no reason.
Well, no, the first thing I did when I got my board here is I grabbed a pencil piece from Kirby and sat and inked over it on the tablet.
I don't know about. Oh man, let's see here.
I got these to try.
What is that? Bring it
There
up a
you
little
go.
closer.
Microns.
No, it's brushes.
Oh, cool.
Japanese brushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ralph says, Randy, I thought you made Bill Bryant look very good back on the Q Oz miniseries. Yeah, thank you, Ralph. I had fun. I'd do it again if Bill wanted to pencil something. Ask me to ink it.
Eric, have you ever seen any of your artwork inked by anybody else?
I have in the past, the distant past, when I was publishing, but
without saying names, was there ever any art you were like, ugh, they missed the mark on that one?
What, in general, or just my own stuff?
And your own stuff.
Not really. I mean,
No?
like, there was one guy who inked a piece for me, and this was the first time I'd ever seen anything inked.
Mm-hmm.
And it still looked like mine, but it looked totally different at the same time, if that makes any sense. And I was kind of taken aback. It looked great. I was pretty happy with it. But that, unfortunately, working with that person didn't work out, and I just kind of like my entire journey through comics has been I can't depend on anybody but myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really like hesitant now to work with anybody else, even though I really want to. But it's more that longing to be part of a bullpen rather than just the assurance that this is actually going to get done.
Mm-hmm. Randy has ran across.
Yes, sir.
You ran across some horrible inkers in your time.
I have. And I've seen a lot of guys that had phenomenal pencils that sent in a professional job and have it come back and inked by professional inkers. It's just been a total disaster.
Gabe says I'm working on inking using my iPad.
Guys, I'm going to step out for a second. I will
Okay.
be right back.
All right.
I need
All
to see the wife off to work.
All right.
I'll be right back.
All right. Gabe, I would say inking on an iPad while on my tablet I suck inking. How about you? Well, Eric, you
Pretty much everything I do is on my iPad now. So just because you say you suck, it's because you're not putting the time in to get used to the tools. Gabriel, what programs are you using to work with, man? Answer that.
Yeah. I'm using whatever you left on that tablet that I have.
Dude, you've got to get rocking on Clip Studio, man. That is the way to make comics in the 21st century.
Well, like the 20th century.
Hey, I've had the pleasure and a few opportunities to color, and so this past weekend at Ace, I got to color Mark Bagley.
Oh,
Let's see if
man, look at that. That's pretty cool.
kind of hard to
Yeah,
camera on a camera, but
I can see it. Yeah, that looks cool. Now you did it by hand? Oh,
yeah, that's all Copic. That's all Copic marker on a sketch cover.
he says. Gabe says Procreate, and I use Clip Studio when I work on PC.
Clip Studio is awesome. Procreate, I've tried a little bit here and there, but I haven't gotten into it. I know a lot of people really dig on it, so and that's the thing. It's like I just haven't sat down and put the time into it.
Ralph Griffith says, I think both Tim Dazan and Sandy Schreiber were excellent on the Realm, and Jason Moore is one of the better inkers I know. Jason does I never knew Jason like just inked. I'm used to him being just a penciler.
Jason?
Yeah.
Oh, no. He's inked professionally.
Has he? Okay.
Yeah. He's done work for Marvel, DC, and he did. I just got done doing quite a large amount of work for Keystone and Lion Forge.
Lion Forge.
They still around?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They just bought Oni Press.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Which means that Oni was in financial straits.
He got the
Yeah.
money. Yep.
Hey,
Gabe says
Varian, I
I
just
use.
sent that to you.
Oh, what's that? Okay.
If you want to put it up on the screen. Oh, I'd be curious to get Randy's take on it. You can
On
see it a
what?
little better. I got a chance to color Mark Bagley's sketch over the weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was a sketch cover, a head sketch of Peter Parker.
Cool.
Let me see here.
It's on Messenger.
Yeah. I'm trying a couple things to send it to. I'll send it to
Scott Moore says
Load myself.
Hickman's X-Men is amazing, and that he sells the hell out of Marvel's True Believers series.
Let's see here.
And Scott Moore,
I've seen some of those True Believer books, and those look really sharp.
Yeah. Is that that's like the DC Archive editions, right?
Yeah.
It's very inexpensive, first appearances, that kind of thing.
Good way to get new readers in, definitely.
Best way to get new readers in. That and collections.
Yeah, we're just picking on Hickman.
Hickman?
Yeah, we're just picking on him.
We're not picking on him. We're just saying his work really
There it
makes you
is.
want to see the old classic stuff.
Now, Eric,
That's
drew
cool.
this. Yeah. Yeah, he colored it. He colored it. He
Yeah.
didn't draw you.
That's
Bagley
me
drew it.
coloring Mark Bagley. So
Okay.
that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. That's pretty cool. Did you, Eric? How long did it take you?
20 minutes.
20 minutes? Oh. Was that was for a fan? They brought it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Cool. I got to see what Mark thinks of that at some point. Yeah, I colored your stuff, Mark. Did you sign it as a colorist?
I did.
Good. Now, I wonder if, now that you've done that, you might get some work for DC. Now, I'm Marvel now. 'Cause, I'm the colorist on
My first time I was at a Wizard in Madison, Wisconsin, which I'll be at next weekend.
Mhm.
But somebody came to me and they're like, "Would you mind coloring somebody else's sketch?" I'm like, no, sure, I'll do it for you. And he brings me a Bob Layton Huntress in the original outfit, and I'm like, "Oh man, I don't want to mess this up." This was my first time doing this too, and Layton was like, still is one of the people that really inspired me as a kid to get into comics. Like it was him and Barry Windsor Smith. I was absolutely in love with their work, and when Layton would ink Smith, oh my gosh, just beautiful stuff. So that was one of my earliest influences, and so that's kind of like one of the high points of my career is I got to color a Layton sketch. So that was cool.
Gabe says, I've been practicing art using a Surface and an iPad. My digital inking is getting better.
Cool.
He also says, I used to get real frustrated when I couldn't get the lines to flow correctly, but I'm starting to get some decent results now.
Yep, and that's just putting the time into it, just like anything else. Even doing it traditionally, you got to put the time into it and get used to the tools and figure it out.
Exactly. Yep. Getting the confidence and the steady hand.
Yeah.
Ralph says he's handing out a few True Believers for Halloween.
Cool.
Yeah. It might help if I didn't get drunk when I was inking them in there.
Yeah, I have a problem with old steady hands, so I'm really grateful for digital inking.
Did you, Eric, with the inking at shows? When you're doing it by hand, is that a little bit more troublesome because you're not
Very
even
much
element
so.
at that point?
I hate my inking at shows. I hate, like, the penciling is fine, the coloring is fine, the inking I'm just like no. Oh, you like it? Okay, I'll take that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, like the confidence is not there, and that's again, it's like I never know when my hands are going to twitch on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had. I remember I tried this new pen, this Ohuyu pen off Amazon. I don't know. And I took it out, and immediately taking it out, a giant blob of this green-black ink fell right on the thing we're doing for somebody. And I was just like, and just chucked it and made it work anyway. I had to hide it, and we hide our mistakes well.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, because I'm working on a piece now, and I hate that I drew it because I'm like, man, I don't want to ink all this. Next time I'm drawing a bunch of buildings, you guys remind me. You know you're gonna have to ink that, right? So I'll remember that, and I'll.
Fill bucket, fill bucket, fill
Yeah,
bucket.
yeah. What was that, Lola? Yeah, Lola tells me she told me, but I was like, detail, detail. Everyone does detail, and I gotta put panes in those windows.
Drawing
So-
windows is such a pain.
Yeah. Now, Randy has been working on new Spank material. You've been working on the Triper book and tinkering and thinking about getting doing more Dreaded Dinosaur. Almost said Devil Dinosaur. Wow. Which I think we need to sue Marvel over. And I'm doing nothing. I'm inking my book, but neither one of you is taking part in Inktober. Why not?
I hate those things. I know it's good for promotion, but it's just like my life isn't convenient enough to where when I know I'm getting in the studio, I'm not going to be bothered, and I want to focus on what I'm doing, and that's just a distraction at this point if I was to participate.
Randy, I was looking at there's a special on, I think it was either Netflix or Amazon, probably was Amazon, about the history of the artist and that worked on Dungeons and Dragons, and they said it was so just kind of laid back because the guys who were making the story would be in one room typing, and they pull the sheet up and they would format the sheet so that they had a block of text over here and a block of text over there, and they just walk into the artist room and say, hey, I need some goblins drawn here, and the guys take it and they go in there and and it was an old hotel they bought,
Okay.
so you had all these artists just in this old hotel,
Yeah.
in different rooms, and me and Eric were talking about that on the road, but coming back from or going to South Dakota, and how cool that must have been to be in that environment where you had a lot of artists working. The creativity must have been at an all-time high. It was the 60s or 70s, so I know there was some.
I'm sure if you were to talk to some of those D&D artists back then, that was the what you're experiencing there is the euphoria of nostalgia.
You think
These
so?
guys were probably like going, that room was dank and ugly and half lit and never could get it properly working. And somebody would bring me up this little tiny space and said, hey, I need some goblins. And I'd have to sit there and draw little tiny goblins in this little space instead of drawing a nice, big, large picture and shrinking it down. But that just shows you how I can't come up with another better, quicker word than disposable. They were looking at that product at the time. They were just laying typewritten sheets together. Here, toss a sketch into this, and then they'd go out and run
Xerox
to or a mimeograph and sit there and pretty well do a glorified fanzine and call it a book. Maybe if you were lucky, it was saddle stitched with a nice color paper cover on it and shipped out as a supplement. It's not like the printing opportunities anymore where you can, even if you had that small space digitally, you can blow it up into a large space and put all sorts of little detail in it and then shrink it back down. Or even say, hey, I need your average drawing here that we've left space for, and somebody at their studio can sit there on a big piece of Bristol board and draw it out large size and then shrink it down and have it look great.
I sent Eric a video a couple of days ago from Second and Charles, and I'm taking pictures of all the D&D books, and I get around to one, and I shouldn't say this, but the art on the book, it just didn't look like any other art on any other books. Like, D&D always has this painterly style.
Yeah, but that came in later editions.
Well, yeah, but the one on this newest edition was so Tumblr-like. And I joked, I said, the SJWs are coming from my D&D. And that was just a joke. 2 days ago, I woke up to a thing from, I forget who it was. It must have been, it was Complex or Vice or one of those. It said, D&D just isn't for nerds anymore. And it never has been. And yes, diversity and inclusion has invaded D&D.
You're
Now-
talking about that cat video?
Yeah.
That
Now,
girl named Cat who's D&D isn't just for nerds anymore.
yeah. If your D&D experience is not diverse and has no inclusion, it's because of you. Because D&D is a set of rules. You can create anything you want to create.
Yep.
If you don't,
If your campaign isn't diverse and inclusive, that probably means you're not divisive and inclusive.
yes.
And if you have a problem with it, it's your problem. It's not D&D's problem.
But
Come on.
they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it. They're gonna make a D&D problem. Watch. It's soon. The new rules are gonna say you must have 4 elves, 2 orcs.
Nah, you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see that. D&D survived a lot worse controversy than that.
Well, yeah, they survived being called. What was it? Devil
And that's-
worshippers.
And that's usually when they make their biggest sales spikes. Is
Yeah.
when they get that kind of attention. Oh, they're devil worshiping. Well, poof, there goes the sales. Kids are all like going, they're devil worshiping. Let's find out. Never seen a real true demon conjured up through D&D. Never.
Eric, you play D&D at all? Ever?
I used to. I have this significantly lack of friends who will play that or invite me over, so I very rarely get the opportunity to do any of that stuff.
I feel the same way about Inktober. I don't have the time to do that kind of frivolous stuff anymore.
Frivolous.
Yeah. The wife very early on in our marriage tossed the video games and stuff out the window and said, "You don't have time for this." And I totally agree with her. So
Yeah.
you know,
Hobbies tend to collect dust when you do what you do professionally for a living.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
Yeah. I still got my video games though. Still got my. I didn't know that Inktober was also in some circles considered Kinktober. Found that out this morning.
All depends on which list you follow, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a October for everybody. Come on, it's 2019.
Yeah.
I hate to sound callous, but I look at it. I look at Inktober with the thought that I really don't need the practice, and I would much rather be doing that kind of thing for money,
Yeah.
for commercial work, and if not, then something that I think I can generate money on.
It's only a promotional gimmick for the
It
guys
is.
that are doing it, I think.
Yeah.
So
But it does hone your skills. So
sure.
Gabe says, set an alarm on your phone for tone that says, remember, you have to ink that while you're drawing.
that's funny. Yeah.
And then Gabe says, you're only limited by your imagination. My latest character is an Amazon.
There we go.
Yeah,
Does your
I mean-
character deliver things the next day?
Amazon's gonna take the name for over. You know, I'm surprised there was no like Amazon joke in Wonder Woman, but again, I guess her movies have been set back in the
They're only getting up to 1984 with this movie.
yeah.
I'm excited for that. I'm actually excited for that.
Let's see how it goes. Yep.
Yeah.
Could
Before
be
she
really
gets-
good. Could be kind of cringy, but we'll
before
see.
she gets recast.
No, she's not going to get recast for a while.
I don't know, man.
I think her and Momoa are pretty well set. You know, for as long as they want to hang on, considering
Yeah.
how much
I
money
hope
their movies have
so. I
made.
hope so because those are the only two that have really worked out.
And quite frankly, Cavill would have been set if he didn't have bad representation, and you know he's perceived to have an attitude now. So, but he would have been set as Superman. He was good Superman.
Yeah, he was all right. He was
The
good.
material he had was kind of, you know, what could you do? But you know,
So okay, we know how you guys feel about Inktober. How do
he
you
had,
feel?
if he had taken back to, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
jump ship. But if Cavill had taken that day and done that shot for Shazam, he'd still have his career. Or I mean, he'd still have his Superman gig. I mean, he's still got a career. He's going to be big in Witcher. That's, you know, I don't have much question about that. But he'd still be Superman if he took that day and did that Shazam gig.
When Witcher comes out, Witcher's based on the book more so than the game. There's gonna be some mad fanboys. That's number one. But then again, there's an argument there that Witcher wouldn't be as big of a book if it didn't have that game. So
I think video gamers expect their movies to not be good translations. I mean, the highest grossing video game based on a movie based on a video game is still Resident Evil.
Yeah.
the first one the first one I liked. It was a good movie, but it was far removed from its source material. So
Yeah.
it's just we expect that. Hey, we won the Sonic War, so
Yeah. Sonic looks a lot better. Um,
Well,
it was
depending upon the lawsuit you want to file, Underworld is kind of like that too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Randy, with your well, first of all, Randy. By the way, Randy, when can we expect your cartoonimals book out?
My who what?
When can we expect your cartoonimals book out?
I'm when I get an invite, I guess. I don't know.
Impact. Yeah, we got to get you an art book.
Well, I know Rob Marzullo has a How to Draw Superheroes book out by that company.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Says Ralph says I guess related to Inktober, gets you in the habit of inking often.
It does.
For me, it allows me to see others' interpretation of the subject, and you see lots of styles.
Yep.
Emily Zelasco, how you doing, Emily? She says, I like using the prompts from the Inktobers to come up with concepts I might have normally not thought of.
Yeah.
And Jason says, there's always going to be mad fanboys. Jesse says, there's always going to be mad fanboys. It's a tale as old as time. So
you can't please everybody.
You guys don't like Inktober. How do you feel about 24 hours?
Oh, no, we didn't say we didn't like Inktober.
It's just not something we have time to participate in.
Didn't have time for it, yeah.
He says, Inktober can be fun if you don't put so much damn pressure on yourself to do it. And then he corrected himself by saying, Inktober.
Yeah.
Those two K's looks evil. That looks.
One more and you're triggered.
Yeah. One more and I'm triggered.
Too many people are triggered.
There's an awful lot of cut in that Inktober.
How do you guys feel about 24-hour comic days?
When I did it, I loved doing it, but I was still breaking into publishing and doing my own thing for the first time. So it was one of those, it's a marathon. It's something you might want to do, but do it once, because otherwise you just stuck doing it forever.
Yeah.
I would do it again if the situation was the right situation. I would certainly try doing it again.
Did you do it from home or did you do it at a?
No,
location?
I was at Green Brain Comics, and they were hosting it. They had plenty of pizza and coffee, and it was a wonderful situation to be participating with lots of other artists doing it, which is one of the things that I really miss. I'm past 40, but as young as I am, I never had the opportunity to work in an actual studio bullpen, and that's something I kind of long for. So that was another reason why I jumped at the opportunity, as it was part of a drawing group, and we were all participating in it. So you get to feed off the energy of others, and that's something I would definitely do it again if time allotted for it.
Randy, you worked in a bullpen.
I've got my 24-hour comic. It's sitting in an envelope back here. What are you going to do with it? I did it. It's done. Do I want to print it? No.
Randy, have you ever worked in a bullpen setting?
Not really. I mean, I worked at a print shop that had more than one artist at a time, but it wasn't really a bullpen setting. No. But we used to get together at Arrow Comics. Ralph will attest to that every Friday. And we weren't really working together, but we would sit there with each other's portfolio and look at what we had done for the week. That was incredibly helpful, I thought. Especially at the time, because Arrow was kicking out 4 or 5 books a month or every other month, and they were doing, it was a McCartney-Lennon type situation where we were all feeding off of one another and learning and growing all on and having pizza and drinking beer and doing what else at the same time. So,
I when I had my bullpen, it was a cool experience. I'll tell you this though. When we were all working, it was good. And then, I guess, the weirdest thing was when we started, we'd order pizzas and bring, drinks and pop and whatever, chips. We would get a lot done. You'd be surprised how much you actually got done. The hours would fall off the clock. It didn't get bad until people start bringing their girlfriends.
Yeah.
And you know, then you have
Too
we
many-
have females that work there.
Too many
Yeah.
Yokos in the room.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we had a girl that brought her boyfriend because he didn't like the fact that she worked with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Says Rido Randy of Arrow back in the day. Yeah, you guys used to work all together, and Randy, I got a question.
Our
And
Arrow
Eric-
offices used to be Ralph's apartment. So, Ralph and Stu's apartment, actually.
Eric, when you were on your publishing, your first publishing endeavor, did you guys have an office, or was it all done from your homes?
It was all done in my apartment. And then I had
Okay.
one other guy that I met through college who did one of the backup stories in my, because I did anthologies. So I had one story that was drawn by somebody else. But no, it was all my own little everything. It's always been.
Yeah, I thought I had to have an office, so I had an office in Southfield, and we outgrew that office very quickly. So I thought, hey, I'm doing something right, and I moved to downtown Detroit. So my rent went from $2.25 to $8.10.
Sounds like you're doing something wrong then.
Yeah.
That's
And,
4 times wrong, by the way.
It went from $225 to $810 a month, and yeah, that overhead was killing me. But
Yep.
we had to get out of there. I had to push back. All right, guys, but it was cool when we did have a central place to come. But I'll tell you this too: the theft was rampant. Like, I had art boards, in a little cabinet. Take what you need, use what you take. And I started seeing people. We were going through boards, like cases, and I since identified the thief. I know who he is. But he would take that, art books, like art instruction books that I had. I went through so many circle templates because of them. I don't know if I'd do it again. I don't know if I'd have a bullpen.
That's not a healthy situation there. Well, at least now you would have everybody taking their Cintiq tablet home. So
Yeah.
they'd have to have the system at home in order to handle it.
Take your Cintiq home with you. We'll see you later. I used to, when they would come in the bullpen, I'd say, okay, pick a desk. And a person will pick a desk. Only one time that we have 2 artists on one desk. We would sometimes rotate homes from the meeting.
That's back in the old Arrow days.
Did you guys ever go to but I think Domino's tracked us for over $2,000 in pizza for the year. Did you guys ever go down to the old A+ headquarters and throw up gang signs on the front lawn? TP the house? I would have.
No, this was after A+.
Oh, you guys are after A+. Okay, I thought you guys
Oh,
were.
yeah.
I thought it was around the same time.
No, it was long. It was quite a bit after. It seems like quite a bit after to me. I think A+ was in the late 70s and Arrow was in the mid 80s.
I'd be the only company that might go TP my another publisher's headquarters overnight. We're gonna go.
We were running the same time as, well, the first Arrow stopped running just as Caliber picked up. But
See,
we didn't want to go TP anybody's house. We just wanted to work.
great opportunity to go like TP someone's house.
And even that was out of the back part of Gary's store. So
Yeah.
initially.
Eric, you have a comic that's just begging to be on. Dreaded Dinosaur. You do have ideas set up for a prequel series.
I've got prequels. I got sequels. Like, okay, my main master plan is to use Webtoon for the initial launch. So I got to get back to drawing that, and I'm get to the story to a certain place. And then for publishing comics, I want to do Dinosaur Man's Daily Adventures. It's more of a serialized, one adventure per book situation where he wanders the planet that he lives on, saving various indigenous peoples from oppression and solving these. And slowly over the time of that course, it puts together this larger story that could then, there's a branch of it that I want to tell as a video game. There's a branch of it that I want to tell, in maybe in an animated series or something like that. So I've kind of pre-planned a lot of this. The bulk of it that I really want to do is the serialized adventures, because I've got quite a few stories stacking up that I could knock out, the synopsis for it in 20 minutes, hand it off to some sort of talented writer that could flush that out even further. And I think it'd be really good material. It would be kind of harkening back to the old, the 50s Planet Comics and the Startling Stories type stuff. That's a lot of that's my go-to for coming up with different ideas. Is I kind of go back to that really old stuff and just drown myself in that when science fiction was new and fantastic. Last night I was listening to old radio shows where I was working on a page of Piper, and I was listening to Galaxy Adventures, X-1. The X-1 show was based off of Galaxy Adventures.
I've been listening to that.
And there was one written by Philip K. Dick that was amazing, called Colony. And what happens on Colony is there's an interplanetary group, and there's a female captain leading this ship. They visit various planets and see if they're colonizable. Well, they've been at this one called Blue Planet for a very long time. They can't find any predatory indigenous species. And all of the major departments have all checked in except for the biological department. And he's really, really worried that they can't find any species on here that commands, that eats other species, or not even an invasive virus. And he's really worried about that. So he's studying in his lab, and suddenly his microscope attacks him and clamps down on his wrist, tries to get to his throat. He ends up having to shoot the thing. And then after that situation's over with, he sees his microscope over in the corner. I'm wait, what happened here? How did that, am I going crazy? And other instances happen to other people like this. And they, once they realize they're not going crazy, they're realizing they're dealing with a protoplasmic organism that can mimic anything. And that's the invasive species on this planet. They have no way of knowing what it actually really is or how to discover it. And the only way they can think to get off this planet is to call another ship, take off all of their clothes, take nothing with them, and get on another ship and get off of that planet. And then they're going to firebomb the whole thing. I don't want to. Well, it's an old story, so I'll go ahead and tell it here, because I love how it ends. So the ship that they call, the captain says, "Okay, I'm going to make sure there's no bridge crew. Everybody will be out of the way, so when you board, nobody's going to be gawking at you or whatever." And so they start making the journey completely naked to go meet up with the ship. The ship arrives early. There's nobody there, just as they said. They get on the ship. It flies away. A day later, the actual ship arrives and waits and wonders what the hell happened to all the people. And that's how it ends.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I had a feeling that was good. Yeah. Josh says sips coffee. We just need time to do it.
Amen.
Ralph says pretty cool. No dialogue on the story of a caveman and a dinosaur. At first I was pretty minimal, but it's grown on me. Oh, it's a show. He said that's from something called Primal on Adult Swim. I seen the ad for Primal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just heard about that the other day. I figured I need to take some time and look it up.
Yeah. Now, Randy.
Yeah.
You've got no commercial work to do
at the moment.
Yeah. Randy's
I got stuff coming down the pike. I have an open window, so I'm gonna fill it with comic stuff.
Yeah, or Sagany. We have
Saginaw gets to be too expensive. So
yeah. Randy's gonna be doing a state of the industry address for IndieVolt pretty soon.
Whenever you want to schedule that, I'll work my way to it.
Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. He's got to write it out though, so there's no expletives.
Yeah,
I get sidetracked with expletives.
You need a podium and stuff,
Yeah.
Curtains and
We'll make him put on a suit and everything. We'll make a whole thing. Just
I'll
That'd
just
be
draw a
hilarious.
picture. I'll just draw a picture of Spank leaning on a podium with a bunch of microphones in front of it.
Yeah, he's gotta have a finger up like this though. He's gotta.
Oh no, he'd have a finger up like this. Maybe one like this, one like this,
Show off.
Yeah,
one
yeah,
like
yeah.
this. Whatever.
Eh,
I'd have to
Eric-
draw two of them. One like that. One like anyway.
Eric, and with your disability, you actually haven't slowed down drawing any, have you? In fact, you probably got.
It forced me to basically relearn everything and use my shoulder more, which was something that was talked about in school, but it didn't get beaten into me until I lost most of the use of my hands. So now it's, you know, necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yeah. You was it Primals by the guy who made Samurai Jack, says Jesse. And then Josh says, the industry is changing again.
Yeah, exactly. Said Josh, if you didn't hear it, I'd say I'd start the speech out with the state of the industry is interesting.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that, Randy, when you do it. So we're almost at 2 hours, so we're gonna cut it because we know Facebook doesn't like going over 2 hours. But if you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications.
You can still like us on Facebook too. Don't be afraid.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to like us on Facebook. We appreciate that too.
There's my little app thing there,
Yep,
Instagram and all that.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Yep, Eric, you can find him everywhere at Dreaded Dinosaur for our IndieVolt radio listeners. At Dreaded Dinosaur, that's Eric Hodson. Fantastic artist, lots of wrestling themed art. Unfortunately, not on the AEW DC books, unfortunately.
Yet.
Yeah, not yet. Eventually, they'll come to their senses and bring Eric. Would you do it, Eric?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
At least the likenesses would be accurate.
Yeah. Of course, you can find me. On
Lola Cam.
Yeah, I know
Find you on
that.
Lola Cam.
I know that the variant on Lola Cam is as interesting as everybody thought it was going to be by name, but this is a PG show. We got to keep it. And also you can find Mr. Zim at Zim Geek. He just put out a new video.
Subscribe to Zim Geek on YouTube. Yeah, and there's another one coming here really quick.
Yeah.
Plus, my next show is at the Grand Rapids Con first week in November. Then Great Lakes Con in February, April, the Flint Comics Con here in Flint, and then at the end of June, the Saginaw Comic Con up in Saginaw.
Cool. Sounds good to us. I got the Black Power and Celebration Comic Con in Wilberforce, Ohio, coming this weekend. I'll be there. So please make sure you stop by. If you're down in Ohio, see me. I'll be the guy with the coonskin cap on, more than likely.
Need more buttons for your cap, though.
Yeah, I got one button that's from Vault Comics. I have a Caliber button. I put it on, the pin broke, so...
That's how old it is, right?
Yeah, it's a Caliber button.
It's
and it
rusted
broke, yeah.
through and snapped.
Yeah.
I got an Alterna button that you can have.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll wear it. What we got? Yep.
I have quite a few buttons, actually, you could probably take. Sitting up on my wall back here.
Josh says, variant Mokel double latte.
There we are.
And Ralph says, till next time, laid her. Get it? I will see you guys all later. We're going to go offline here. We'll probably stay behind, talk gossip behind all your backs.
Yeah, thank goodness we weren't live when we were talking earlier. So
oh my God!
Before Varian lost his connection, probably why he lost his connection. Actually.
Yeah. At Jim Lee, what were you turn up next?
He's everywhere.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good night, everybody.
Good morning.
Have a great morning. Have a good weekend.
Don't do anything we wouldn't do, which gives you a lot.
We're not going to make that list.
Yeah.